Holton here. Thanks for watching the Hot Zone. Today I'm in Egypt, if you couldn't tell, and this is one of the oldest pyramids behind me. This is the Pyramid of Imhotep, which there's a really cool story I just learned about that some experts believe that Imhotep was the biblical Joseph from Genesis 41, where Joseph was sold into slavery in Egypt by his brothers and then became number 2 only to Pharaoh. And if you remember that story, there was 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years famine, in which Joseph foresaw the famine coming and with the help of God, and helped the Pharaoh make good choices by storing up grain for those 7 fat years. And then they had enough grain to feed the people during the 7 lean years. And this is the actual one of the pits where they would have stored the grain. There's like 11 of these pits here. They're very, very deep, which would have kept the grain cool. Of course, it's very dry here. Probably kept it from getting ruined by the sun and everything. And that is fascinating to think about, because this pyramid was built to the Pharaoh, who was the Pharaoh at the time that Joseph would have worked for him. And they say Imhotep was not a pharaoh. He was number 2 in the kingdom, and came from a family of 12 children, just like Joseph did. So there are a lot of markers that would tie Imhotep to that time period and to Joseph. And so it's just fascinating to think about that this could have been the spot where those transactions took place. When people came to buy the grain, you look down here, they could have just walked their camels or donkeys or whatever through here, and at each one of these little the indentations like there behind me could have been the spot where, okay, you went inside. There's one little hall that we went through. You went inside there, you got your ticket, you paid your money, and you brought your camel outside here. They pulled the grain out of these silos and dropped it down to the guy who then loaded it on your camels as they were in their parking space that they were given down there. I mean, just fascinating stuff. We went inside this tomb. I mean, all of these pyramids are tombs. I didn't realize there were so many pyramids in Egypt. They're just pyramids everywhere. It's like 150 of them. And this one kind of had this administrative purpose. Like I say, not all experts agree on that. Of course, getting experts to agree on anything is fool's errand, but it makes total sense to me if this is the spot where the tomb was built for the Pharaoh, who was Pharaoh at that time, and Joseph was his second in command. He would have been the one in charge of building that tomb. And look at this. If you look down there on the ground, there's pottery just laying all over the place. And you think like, oh, how old is that? Oh yeah, it's like 3,000 years old. Yeah, no big deal. It's like 3,000 years old. It's incredible. So look, I don't know what, I think we're going to this one next. It's called the Pyramid of Unas, right there. So that's, I'm watching them. They're going into that one right now. So again, this is our first real day exploring Egyptology and the pyramids, and I'm just learning so much. It's fascinating, and it's not a war thing necessarily, a crisis or anything, but if you think about it, this has a lot to do with what's going on in the world right now, because Egypt gets 80% of its grain from Ukraine and Russia. And guess what's not happening right now in Ukraine and Russia this spring? They're not planting. So Egypt is already very concerned that they're going to be short a lot of grain, and prices are already skyrocketing here. We've been talking to some people today at a local bakery about that. The president of Egypt was a military general named General Sisi, and when he kind of foresaw this somewhat, he realized that Egypt is very dependent on grain from other countries, and so he instituted a plan over a year ago to make Egypt more independent when it comes to food. In so doing, they've instituted these measures like quotas that they have to meet. Every farmer has to grow a certain amount of wheat in order to try to help feed Egypt without being so dependent on foreign grain. And if the farmer won't grow his quota, then there's like jail time and fines and stuff involved. Pretty crazy. But bottom line is, this is obviously, the food security has been a huge issue for thousands of years, because there's the proof right there behind me. So we're going to be exploring Egypt for the next few days, and we've got a lot more cool stuff coming after that. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and come along with us.